How y'all doing? It's Judge Lynn. Hope you're well. Ooh, I wonder if my screen's looking a little fuzzy. Is it looking fuzzy? I'm in my workroom. I want to tell you this conversation I had with a girlfriend of mine, and she knows I'm gonna talk about it. So because I don't throw shade if I can avoid it, unless I really want to, which is true of everybody, right? So how stupid was that? But anyway, first of all, I want to say I have on a decent outfit today because yesterday my wardrobe situation was so raggedy that I felt I needed to make up for it. So this is what I'm doing. I'm looking reasonable today, as reasonable as I can be at home without assistance. But anyway, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she knows about that I'm going to talk about it. And we were talking, and she says, "So what's next?" Because all along we've always talked about, and I've always been worried about what's next. Because next for me and Eric was, train rides and me writing books and we train ride, we'll stop at a big stadium for a game our whole thing was going to be train rides. I was going to write books on the train, and he'd go to different stadiums, and we'd watch games, and we'd visit grandchildren. I mean, that was our intended next. We were going to downsize yet again, and was going to sell my, that's what was next. Next used to be being a school teacher, but because I always said once I got out of TV, I was going to do the thing I love to do most, which is teach people, and I was going to go to school, but I'm too scared to go. And I know that sounds flippin' ridiculous, but it's not. And I don't want a day-to-day job now that he's not around. It's different. Everything's different. Everything's different. Everything is different. And it's just different. But anyway, we were talking, and she says, "What's next?" And I said, "I think the dollhouses are what's next." And she said, "You can't have a next that's just a dollhouse." Because that's just a hobby. And I said, "Yeah, I know." And then she said, "Well, maybe you could, start a Dollhouse YouTube channel and all this kind of stuff." And I said, I don't need to collect anything right now but joy and peace. And I don't need to, it's okay to be retired. And my children laugh at me because I'm kind of like that. She is of my generation, and we were raised by the generation that went to World War II, and they had a work ethic like, what do you mean? I had one of my father's friends once said, we were laughing, we were in the thing, and he said, "Yeah, no, I never took a vacation. I didn't want my boss to think he could work without me. He could get along. If my boss found out he could get along without me, I might get fired." That was their mentality. These were brothers back in the 40s and the 50s where, the civil rights bill hasn't even passed, where it was legal to discriminate by, level of race. I remember But anyway, I'm just going to go through a long thing about all the stuff that I remember seeing when I was a little girl. But anyway, that generation was, work ethic strong. And they sold that to my sister and I. I mean, I was talking about becoming a doctor. We were both talking about becoming doctors when we were 4 and 5 years old. We didn't really know what that entailed. They were instilling in us. I mean, almost to the brainwash stage, which I'm glad about, because if somebody who really loves you and really knows much, it mixes up your sauce. You don't need to know what in it. They love you. And they're good at what they do, and they're making up your sauce. And then you get old enough to know what's in the sauce, and then you take out of the sauce what you don't want to be in there. It's all right. But anyway. And she said, "This can't be next." And I think I told her that I said, "I thought about it." And I said, if I were a dude, 66 years old, and I was restoring something Mustang, think of the year or whatever that would make that cool, because I don't know. I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to take that call, but anyway, I was talking about Asa. He's my one of the most well-rounded individuals I've ever met in my life. You know, he used to DJ, climb mountains, and he does it best fight. The most well-read dude. Anyway, I was excited about Big Boy. He's my investment man, but he's also a friend. You know, he's my buddy. And so I sent him some pictures of Big Boy, all lit up. He was so excited. He was so excited. And then the next time I saw him, he had pictures where some guy had built a miniature replica of Barnum and Bailey's circus that he saw when he was a little boy. He spent his whole life doing that. And it was beautiful, and it was gorgeous, and it was, I don't know. I was trying to, and she understood at the end what I was talking about. It's like, what's weird is 65, you used to be old. Remember that? Well, you don't, because you weren't around. But I do. And the fourth quarter has gotten so much longer for people, and we are so much healthier in the fourth quarter than we used to be, that there is some confusion, especially amongst, well, I ain't gonna say us boomers. This boomer, now see, this hair should just go. I'm in the middle of my eternal haircut. This hair does not need to be there at all. Right here, all this should be gone. See, it's too heavy. But anyway. Do I have a hat? I usually have a hat nearby in case I have, of emergencies. And this is an emergency. Hang on. I'm back again with a hat on because my hair was distracting the living daylights out of me. So anyway, but the fourth quarter is so much longer, hopefully, knock on wood. And if I am blessed with longevity, God says, let this one, I had my Aunt Amelia. She was so funny. She was my married, she was my great aunt in law. And I remember sitting out talking to her. She was 102 years old, and we were sitting on her front porch. And she said, it's 102, and I said something about how wonderful that is. And she says, oh, I don't. She says, I have no idea why the Lord is keeping me here this long. She was mad about it. And she died later on that year, so I'm sure, I don't know how that story happened, but she was 102. She's sitting on the porch. She says, I'm tired of sitting on the porch. I'm 102. Let's go do something else. So anyway, I don't want to do that. I just want to build dollhouses, and it's perfectly legit. And I could actually get good at it. I could actually, really have something. And then I started thinking I could actually, because if you go on Etsy, which now is that's my Hobby Lobby light. And it's cool. And they have like mom and pop or mom and daughter teams that get really proficient at certain stuff, especially now that they have these laser cut things and designing things. And they make little stores and they sell them. And then I said, yeah, maybe I could get enough to sell. That's not the point. I'm not looking to be necessarily entrepreneurial. I'm not with regard to this stuff. this is what my life is. Entrepreneurial is how you finance that life. That is not life itself, unless you really enjoy what you were doing, which is cool. Like divorce court. That was more than a gig. At first it was an embarrassment to my parents, and then it turned into a ride, and then it turned into a place from which I could do every once in a while. Now I know the show is voyeuristic and woo, but every once in a while I could say something, mess something to somebody, and change somebody. And I know that because I get those pop-ups. I love a pop-up. I saw you on TV and you said, and half the time they can't finish talking, they just cry. That makes me feel like I made the right choice, despite the fact that my mother, dad was gone by, that was apoplectic at the thought that I was going to go do this. But anyway, I did. And why am I talking about that? But it's just a generational thing, and I've spanned so many generations. My father's mother was born in 1886, so we have some very old school, and it's like you don't run around without a job if you are capable of working. And I'm running around without a job, even though I'm capable of working. Now, I've done what Daddy told me to do, which was save my money. He always told me, if you look around the house and you can see all your money, you're not doing it right. Only people that need to be impressed by what you got is the people at the investment bank at which you keep said money. He also called me when we first got out of law school, and I got to cook my first job. He says, I'm going to tell you something, Lenny. I'm done with you now. It's all over. No more money coming from Columbus. I said, I know, Daddy, I got a job. It's not a problem. He said, yeah, I don't understand, but I want you to know that if you mess that up, I ain't coming to rescue you. I ain't coming to save you. So you make sure you don't make any mistakes. You do your, almost fussing. Cut the phone. And then years later, I was talking to Mommy. He said, yeah, I was sitting right there when he made that call. Then when he hung up the phone, he says, actually, she's got a million chances. I'll bail her out till the end of time. But I don't want her to think that. I want her to function as if we're not here, so they will make better, more rational, more reasonable decisions, because they know that they, meaning me and my sister, on their own. And thus helping. That's another emotional lesson that my father inadvertently taught us. He wanted us to feel it. I remember one time I had a car accident. I pulled out of Taco Bell. No, it was Antigo's Tacos. Gosh, I don't know if any of you remember Antigo's Tacos. Oh, they were the best tacos ever, Antigo's. I don't even know if they exist anymore. But anyway, we're pulling out, and I didn't, and my sister said, land, and then boom. And luckily, he was a friend of my parents. And so there was an accident, we pulled in, we talked, and they were laughing and stuff because it was back to my parents. And then I think my mom came out there or something. All cars were drivable. And I said, Kathy, you drive home. Because I was in the car with my sister, and my father got on the phone and said, put your sister on the phone. She says, you drive home. I said, Daddy, our mama said, I don't want it. That's exactly why you need to get behind the wheel of that car and go home. Drive that car, don't put it in your sister, and gave it to me. Give me the phone to your sister. No, Daddy, I won't drive. I'll make her drive. My parents were not playing at any point in time, and which makes me feel like I'm playing at this point in time, which I am, but ain't nothing wrong with it. That's the generational change that I have to make. Ain't nothing wrong with it as long as I make enough constant income that I ain't got to dip into it. My other stuff, just the residuals and all that, and I just say, hey. And it's okay to be a woman whose hobby, like dudes, I know, to play the video games, they have kind of everything. So, I don't have to be, So I want to show you big boy since I've been talking about him lately. Now I haven't had a lot of big changes because I've been into building furniture. None of which is right here. I hate this part. Y'all can see all my wildness. Although my wildness is a little less wild than it used to be. I have a whole new system of, it doesn't look too good, but you know. First of all, I want to show you, got to move the light. I want to show you my new gizmo. Oh, it's not plugged in. Well, anyway, it's a standing, rotating saw. I know how to work it. Then I got a barn door and walls that I'm building. I cut the wood for the walls with the saw. I'm trying to upholster a couch. Nothing's going right on that. And this is the room. Remember I used to have that there? I think I'm going to clog this up, do this, put the new wall and the barn door here. And then I got some new items in the kitchen, just cute. I took this, I painted this, and I put some knobs on it, and I put the little things on it. And so we're going with that. So that's where we are right now. Boyfriend here got demoted. I was trying to make it real pretty. I was going to make it the downstairs. What do you call that, entertainment center? But I don't like it enough, so I'm putting it upstairs. And it's going to go in the room with this. Oh. Are y'all paying attention? Now don't be looking too close at everything. I'm just getting started. But I did that. I crocheted the thing. I sewed the pillows, as you can see, because it's a little janky. And that's that. And then I'm going to put this up here. And this is going to be a, you know, that is leaving today. I'm going to the church, dropping it off. Church has the cutest minister. He was visiting at the refugees where we were teaching him English, and he came up, and he was just so cute. And I walked up to him, and he just put his arms out. I don't know why I remember that, but he was really cute. I think I'm going to cry for no reason. I wonder if I feel bad because I said that. And then my stomach's growling. This is all a number of indicators that I just need to get off this thing. So I forgot last time to say subscribe and notify. So subscribe and notify. Not notify. Press the I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby.